Chapter 1109. The five elders are all here at once. They've all been summoned. We're gonna die. Probably not. Someone is. More than just Vegapunk. More than likely. Or more than just 3 Vegapunks. More than likely. We have a new cover story. I'm really excited to see who it's about. I don't know at this point. Onigashima is on the ocean floor. So could be... why can't I? Kawamatsu? Kawamatsu? Did I remember his name this time? I called him Kurapika during my live stream. Kawamatsu. Yeah, I've got it right this time. Could be Kawamatsu, or it could be just, you know, I'm just thinking someone who isn't a devil fruit user. But this could also just be setting the stage, and then we'll actually get into who it really is. But I'm excited for a new cover story. It's been a long time. Anyway, we get to see the beginning of this transmission that was activated on Vegapunk's death. And Vegapunk needs to hire an editor. The chaos of how this starts off with Vegapunk speaking and then getting interrupted by Shaka, and then Pythagoras shows up, and we have the 3 dead Vegapunks all having a conversation about coffee and about, oh, how can we strategize this? Let's work out the mechanics of this real quick. It's like it's like it feels like a new streamer or a new video maker who's like, yeah, I don't really know if is the setup working? Does this look all right? I haven't really decided what my upload schedule is going to be yet, but I'm thinking maybe it could be this, or no, that probably won't work, so maybe it could be that. And it's like, cut your rambles out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you need an editor, Vegapunk, but I love it. And with all that chaos, you also have the world becoming aware of my transponder sale is now speaking, and I have no control over this. What in the world is going on? Turn it off, make it stop. We can't, because the world's greatest mastermind has hijacked every single transponder snail. And you even have Luffy, of all people, who's actually paying attention. This never happens. But we saw him in the last chapter looking so fierce, pushing Saturn back, holding on to Kizaru, looking down with his eyes all shaded. And now he just looks so innocent, just kind of like, what's going on? What are we doing? Which reminds me that Luffy still doesn't know that Vegapunk is dead. So that really sucks for him. He's gonna find that out very soon. Saturn still has his animalistic, void, crazy eyes going on. So he's still possibly not connected with any sort of rational thought and just going off of instinct at this point. We still haven't really sorted out exactly what's going on with Saturn, but seems to have lost his humanity. Not sure how much was there in the first place, but it all seems gone now. So we got our countdown. We've got 10 minutes for the bad guys to figure out what they're gonna do. And I love it. I love a good countdown. I love a good countdown. When I was streaming, everybody was telling me that they hate a good countdown. But I love a good countdown. And I love this countdown that makes the villains move. It makes the antagonist realize we don't have a choice to stay here and let Saturn handle it all. We have to move because our time is running out and we can't just see what's gonna happen next. And I love that because up to this point, I've been feeling like it would be really stupid if it would seem ridiculous if Vegapunk, daggone, why can't I remember anyone's name? It would seem really silly if Saturn was usurped, be it killed, or just pushed back enough that they were able to escape and get away, and the mission was unsuccessful, and none of the other elders showed up. They're all just sitting around. They're all just waiting. So the idea that the greatest threat in all the world is here, the idea that the one that they've been trying to capture, the one that they've been trying to squash down, the devil fruit that they've been trying not to activate, all these things are happening right here. We know where he is. We have one of our men on the ground. And then we're not executing full force. Seems dumb to me. It just seems like something should get the rest of the elders there. And they're here. So I love that this countdown forced the rest of the elders to realize the gravity of this situation, to realize how little time they have. And so they're like, okay, we have to get there too. We have to execute full force. We can't just wait around for one person. I understand them sending one person at first. That makes sense. They're cocky and he's immortal, Near. So it makes sense that they would think that Saturn and Kizaru would do the job. But very quickly they should realize this isn't doing the job and they should show back and they should show up too. So I'm thrilled that that's what happened because logically that's what should be happening in my opinion. So having the rest of them show up is awesome for the logic of the story, so it doesn't feel like we're just not utilizing our full power because that would be inconvenient for plot. We're not doing that, but also it means that we're gonna see the forms of the other 4 of these really, really soon. And my vote is insects. I really, really want them all to be insects. I know it's not gonna happen because one of them is distinctly bird-like, but I really want them all to be insects because I think that the narrative irony of Saturn constantly calling humanity insects and constantly saying they're less than me, they can be squashed beneath my feet, they're barely even human, like discounting their humanity by calling them insects, and then it's revealed that his form is a spider. To me, the narrative irony of that is beautiful. So if we could just make all 5 of them like different. And I looked up, I Googled if there was an insect that had a beak, and there's not anything close enough to fit the shadow, so I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm just throwing that out there, that I think it would be narratively cool. I think it would be thematically cool. I do love that as we're getting these flashes across the world, that there are so many people that know of the legend of Vegapunk. They know his name because of how his inventions have progressed society in so many ways, have progressed what society has available to them and what they're capable of, and so they know the name of Vegapunk. I think that's really cool, especially because we have heard Vegapunk's name long before we met him, which enforces that the world should know about him. So seeing them respond and be like, wait, this is him? This is Vegapunk? What's he saying to us? We should listen. I love that. And it's also just lovely to see people like Rebecca and Kairos reacting, to see Whoopslap acting like an old man, a crotchety old man, where they're like, I told you we needed a video screen. And he's like, and who's paying for that? Alice is adorable with her little animal on her head. Vivi in Big Morgan's reporting room again. And I will also note that Big Morgan says there's currently a buster call happening over there. So the place is burning to the ground as we speak, I'm sure. I'm now excited to see what his news report for all this is going to be after we finish getting the full message from Vegapunk. Whatever it's gonna be, after we finish getting his full message and we hear and we see the aftermath and it's all over, and then Big News Morgans reports on it all, I'm excited to see how he spins this. Is he going to take that liberty of saying, in the rubbles of Egghead Island, where everything's on fire and burning to the ground, and it's basically just a smoldering pit of nothing, somehow comes a radio signal from the now deceased Vegapunk, killed by the dictator Luffy. I want to see how much liberty he takes with how he reports on this story, because we all know he does this. So I'm excited to see if this is kind of a clue of what direction it's gonna go in. I would also like to issue an official complaint that this awesome line, this amazing joke, look at his head, talking about Vegapunk, look at his head, his mind's so sharp it cut itself. This is an awesome line given to some rando unnamed character in the West Blue. That was a beautiful way of explaining the logic of, I know Vegapunk is supposed to have a ginormous, tall head. He no longer does. His intellect is so sharp, it's cut his head right off. Like, that is so funny. And the fact that that's attributed to no one is upsetting to me. Editing Murphy here. I forgot to mention that I find it interesting that Vegapunk is insistent that people have access to video as they receive this message, when if he's just giving a verbal message, that it seems weird that audio alone wouldn't be good enough. So I'm wondering when he recorded this and what his intent is. Shaka and Pythagoras are there, so we know for a fact that this was not recorded really recently. It was before they died, but it still could have been recorded at the beginning of Egghead Island arc, maybe right after he sent out that call at the beginning of the arc saying, hey, I'm probably gonna die soon. And we also know that Vegapunk is aware of the lore of sun god Nika because we saw in the flashback that he heard Kuma's stories. He danced to the rhythm of the drum that Kuma illustrated. So we know that Vegapunk is aware of sun god Nika. So it's possible that when he saw Luffy, when he interacted with Luffy, he was able to identify this is Luffy, just like Kuma was able to do when he was checking Luffy out, when he was checking to see, when he was spying on him and talked to Dragon. You know what I'm talking about. So I wonder if Vegapunk knew this is sun god Nika. This is the end. I know this is going to end soon. And so he set all this up while we were on Egghead Island. And after he finishes delivering his message that we're about to hear, he's then going to turn the camera to his body, maybe wherever his body is, the camera will turn there, which means that we'll also see Luffy and Saturn. He couldn't have predicted that Saturn would be here, or at least I don't think he could have, but he could have predicted that Luffy would still be here at the time that he would die, and maybe he wanted the world to see sun god Nika. Maybe. I also don't think that this message is being transmitted from Punk Records, because I just think that Vegapunk is smarter than that, and I think that he wouldn't put it in the most obvious place so that whoever is going to go to try to destroy the message, wherever they're obviously going to go, you know, it's not going to be there.
And then we have Luffy, who was distracted for a second and then just picks right back up, letting them know that, okay, so my punches aren't doing the job. Doesn't matter, I'm keeping you here. From now until the moment all my friends get away, I'm keeping you guys right here. Excellent line, extra sad knowing that he still doesn't know that all of his friends are not getting away because one is currently dead in the arms of another friend. The Dawn symbol attack is so satisfying. It looks hilarious. Look at them smashed and flattened like paper and then spun like pizza and thrown like a frisbee. The insult, humiliation, the disrespect being shown to an elder, one of the 5 elders, and an admiral right now being pancaked, pizzeria'd, and frisbeed away like they're nothing. Luffy is treating these two like they're nothing. He played with them for a while. He played along. He dodged around. He tried to match them one for one, but as soon as his friends got in danger, he puffed up. He grabbed one, shoved the other aside, and then he just started making a mockery of them. Just humiliating. So after he frisbees them and destroys a couple of ships in the process, Kizaru surrenders. He's got his arm over his face, and one of my patrons pointed out that it seemed like Kizaru was in mourning at this point, and I really love that observation because Kizaru, from the moment he entered Egghead Island, has been very clear, I don't want to do this. I'm not interested in killing my friend. I'm not interested in participating in this, but this is my job, so I'm gonna do it. I would like to do it quickly, so please don't make this hard on me. Just let me handle this quick. I'll make it painless, and I'll leave. Just let me handle this and then not have to think about it again. And instead, he's being forced to fight and fight again and fight again and fight again, and it's wearing on him because he doesn't want to have to be going through this so often. He doesn't want to have to keep fighting. He just wants to get in there, do this despicable deed that he doesn't want to do, and he wants to leave. And now here he is being humiliated and flattened, and then he's got his arm over his face, mourning the fact that his friend is dead, which he knew going into this was going to happen, and he didn't want to do it, but this is where we are. His friend is dead, and here he is still continuing to have to fight. He can't even just leave and be alone. So he's just done. He's just done. Saturn, on the other hand, is frisbeeing himself back. I love the look on Luffy's face when he says, how come nothing I do damages him? It's like, this is not bothering Luffy. This is not difficult for him. This is not a fuss. It's just kind of annoying. You know, like he's not getting worn down. He's not like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. It's just irritation. It's just, what? Could you just lay down? Like, look at Kizaru. Do that. This is getting annoying. I would like to go hang out with my friends now. Anyway, the elders have telepathy. They're able to communicate through mind link, which definitely matches up with some of the other scenes that we've seen from them, how they're so connected that they almost seem hive mind-esque. So now knowing that they can speak to each other mentally, that they have this link and they can communicate about what they're doing. So they're clearly independent beings, but they also have a shared consciousness of some sort. Be that just that they can hop into each other's minds and communicate, or be that there's a stronger link than that. Personally, my vote, I won't say bet, I'll just say fan theory at the moment, because I don't have evidence, is that it would be cool. This is how I'll word this. It would be cool if what Oda is doing here is that he's setting up a parallel, because we have Vegapunk, who has created these satellites that are independent beings. Obviously, one of them can betray the rest. They are independent beings. They can keep secrets. They're capable of that. They can withhold information. They can work together. They can share every bit of information they have and work in harmony. They can be a hive mind and they can work independently, but they're all pieces of the same being in some form. It would be pretty cool if Oda was paralleling that with Imu. You know, if Imu is the Stella and he's created satellites that are the five elders. It would be interesting if Imu too is the Stella and has his 5 satellites, one less than Vegapunk, so already you're working at a deficit. 5 satellites that all can speak to each other, have this mind link, and the parallel here would be that Vegapunk allows them their own autonomy, and maybe Imu doesn't. We know that the 5 elders bow before Imu. We know that they work for Imu and don't have all the information Imu has. So it would definitely be a position, a dynamic of servitude, which we already see, instead of one of collaboration, like what Vegapunk has with his satellites. But it would be really interesting to see them as created beings, much like Vegapunk has, and they have this connection because of that parallel that Oda might be doing with Vegapunk. I don't know, maybe I'm really out of line. Either way, they have telepathy, they can communicate, and Saturn is able to let them know that Vegapunk must not be given license to speak. Well, they say that. So he responds with, "I'll make the summons." And then they all appear. They all get their own summoning circles. They all come up from the earth, or are about to. And now the tides have turned again. Once again, over and over again in this battle. It's like, this side looks too stacked. It's obvious who's gonna win. And then it's, that side looks too stacked. Oh wait, nope, it's that side that looks too stacked. Oh wait, okay, back to this side. It's like the tides keep turning with every few chapters. We get a new element introduced. We get a new move played on the chessboard that makes it look like there's a back and forth in this battle and in how it's going. And oh, it's wild. I don't know how we're gonna handle this. We have our Straw Hats. So if Zoro can get himself in gear and get over here, then he and Sanji could work together. Hopefully we could get all the Straw Hats working together on one. Luffy taking another one, the Giants taking another one, and then we still have 2. The Iron Giant can have one. And then what? We need another person to come in. I mean, the Giants are obviously extremely strong beings. Again, during the live stream, someone pointed out that the government were trying to make giants, right? And we, even in this very arc, we were reminded of the Punk Hazard kids. The government was trying to make giants. So we know they're powerful. We know they matter. We know they're important. So I don't know, maybe the Giants could take 2. But I don't think this is enough. I don't think that narratively it would be very satisfying if Luffy on his own is fighting Saturn and making light of it. You know, it's not like he's huffing and puffing and struggling with this battle, but he can't do it. Like, he can't get Saturn. His invincibility is making it impossible on Luffy. So if the Giants come in and they're just like, we'll each take 1, then I don't think that would be narratively very satisfying, because the Giants can't be matched. My power scaling video is coming next week. The point is, I think we need another person coming in. I think we need another person to arrive on the island in order to make this all possible. Who? I don't know yet. Maybe it is time for the Grand Fleet to show up. Who knows? But All I know is that having all the 5 elders here is so exciting because 1, we're going to get to see all of their forms. 2, that also might mean that we're going to see if they all turn into this animalistic, instinct-driven, humanity-drained beings when they go into full form, and what that looks like on each individual one of them. We get to see them, they're seemingly impossible to kill forms. I don't think that we're just going to defeat them all. I think that the best hope we have is to push them back enough that we can escape and then just live to fight them another day. So what is that last element? I'm not sure yet. One of my patrons suggested that Kuma is going to stay behind and blow them up and die, sacrifice himself so that they can all get away. And that's very sad. And it might be right. I also just really quick, before I show you this week's art piece, I just really quick want to point out Sanji. Where was that panel? Oh, there it is. When the Vegapunks on the video were arguing over the amount of time, and they declared, okay, 10 minutes. And Sanji says, "Isn't that your voice, Vegapunk?" And then he looks down and he's like, "Hey, wake up." That's so sad. They were so sure. They were so absolutely sure that they were getting him out of here. And the fact that at the beginning of this chapter, we have the flatline while the video's playing, just to remind us, hey, he flatlined, and look, it's still that way. He's not waking up. And then you have Sanji, like, wake up. What are you doing? Hey, because he believes that he's getting him out of here. I'm just loving the way I'm loving the way Oda's doing this death scene for Vegapunk. I think he's hitting on the emotional beats and he's giving it time to breathe, and I love it. And I think it's a good sacrifice because Vegapunk, there was foreshadowing for his death. There was enough there that it felt thematically right for this story. And it's a sacrifice that hurts. It hurts the reader and it hurts the characters that are left behind. And it's one that the stakes aren't too high because we still have other Vegapunks. We still have the punk records. So we still have everything that we needed from Vegapunk. We just lose Vegapunk. So it's something that doesn't hinder the story, but it does hurt the readers and the characters. It's a sacrifice that I think, good job, Oda. You're doing a good job. I like it a lot. Anyway, art piece. So Tessine is actually unable to do art for the month of March. So my thumbnail artist, who handles all my non-chapter review videos, he handles the thumbnails for each of those. He is doing the art pieces while Tessine is away. So this week, Chirag depicted the 4 elders that are left behind looking in on the incident at Egghead Island as the world receives the transmissions of Vegapunk's message, with Luffy holding off Kizaru and Saturn from above. And you also have Imu in the center looking in again, the one who's pulling the strings, the mastermind behind it all, looking in at them as well. I love his depiction of the scale of this situation, of the effects that it's taking on the entire world, and of all the major players right now that are looking in or that are actively battling in the midst of this chaos. Chirag is linked in the description of this video, so be sure to show him some love and let me know what you think of this chapter. What do you think is going to happen next? Because honestly, so many things can. I would love to continue chatting with you about it in the comments. I'll see you again soon. Bye.